Frieren Season 2 is broadcasting these days. Have you been watching it? Of course you have. There's a shot in episode 1 that reminded me of the Eminem throwing things meme, and I knew as soon as I saw that scene that I had to redraw that meme as Frieren. In this episode, Frieren and her 2 children find a special crystal that suppresses magic from being cast in its proximity, and it glows very brightly if you put mana into it. It's also supposed to be extremely valuable. Like, they say they could buy a mansion from just selling the 1 crystal that Frieren found. But even though they just had a conversation about having run out of funds, they decide to leave this in the bushes because the girls need to be able to use magic at all times, as all women do. The obvious question is, why didn't they just ask Stark to carry it at a distance until they got to the next vendor? It's taking the don't split the party advice a little bit too strictly. Anyway, despite purposely leaving the anti-magic crystal, they have the bad luck of falling into a sinkhole that drops them into a cave that's absolutely full of the things, so that neither Frieren or Fern can levitate them out, or defend themselves, or even sense their surroundings through mana, which makes Fern very anxious. But Frieren remains calm because she trusts Stark to be able to protect them if anything happens. It is kind of interesting that some of the crystals are glowing, and I wondered if it suggests that there's mana running through the earth itself, or if it's just a convenience for us in the audience to be able to see better. And of course, something does happen. A dragon appears. Contrary to what you would expect, Stark can't actually demonstrate his value now by engaging the dragon physically, because it's a venomous apex dragon. So, Frieren uses the glowing feature of the magic suppression crystals to make a flashbang and stun the dragon and allow them to escape. It was such an iconic tossing animation that I just had to redraw it. Then, since Frieren has short little elf legs and Fern is too top-heavy, Stark has to literally carry the party while running to make a clean escape from the dragon cave. The crystals got to shine, and so did Stark. It is kind of interesting to me that both the first and second episode of this season introduce a new kind of power for the world and then immediately set it aside. In this case, it's almost a subversion of audience expectations to show and explain the anti-magic crystals, show one use of them, and then not talk about them at all the rest of the episode. Like, imagine if they were able to find somebody who can craft with the anti-magic crystals, and did something like put them inside Stark's axe so they could make a one-hit kill against demons, or if they crafted some jeweled cuffs that they can slap on demons to prevent them from using magic. Like how in One Piece the government has sea stone cuffs that prevent devil fruit users from using their powers. Or if they just carried some off and sold it. I doubt that Fern or Stark would leave the journey to enjoy living in a big house, but they probably could get some special magic supplies, or simply buy a horse and carriage to ride in so they aren't walking everywhere. It would have definitely been worth the few days or so for Stark to have to walk a deferential 5 paces behind Frieren and Fern. It's not even so far that they wouldn't be able to chat anymore. And I wonder if the anti-magic crystals will come back at a later point in the story, or if it's going to be a one-off episodic thing. Like whenever the Starship Enterprise discovers some crazy alien civilization or phenomenon, and then they leave and they're just like, don't worry about it, we'll find some other weird space thing next week. Having magic be blocked by the environment also made for a good little situation to show the team's reactions, like Frieren's unwavering confidence despite not being able to use her powerful magic abilities, as opposed to Fern worrying. Frieren not only demonstrated that she has a high trust in Stark, but also that she's still quick-witted enough to be able to be part of the action by doing the crystal flashbang move, even without being able to cast spells. I've seen some discourse online about how Frieren, as a series, is too emotionally flat, with too few displays of emotion, or any character tension, or fan service. First off, it's pretty funny the timing of this happening right before the hilarious flashback to Frieren's tantrums in the 3rd episode of this season. Secondly, I think that overall it's not that the series lacks those things, but just that they're done more subtly than in most other fantasy series or anime in general. To use a metaphor from the show itself, the fan service and display of emotions in this series are like when Frieren demonstrated blowing a kiss, and Fern and Stark think it's too much, but Cyan is like, what was that? It's there, but it's just too subtle for some people to feel if they've been desensitized to emotion and fan service by the more extreme displays of it in other shows. As you can see, I kind of went a bit beyond the original idea of just redrawing Frieren tossing the crystal flashbang to the dragon. I also thought it would be kind of funny to have a variant that's the POV of a man thrilled to be given this sort of thing. And this sort of thing, too. Links in the description for my post on Twitter where you can download transparent versions of the pictures. Thanks for watching.